Welcome back to the Live Morning Show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet. We are honored to have with us today Ann Rollins, Executive Director, and Alaina Hart, the Nutrition Director of the Alice A. Koch Post Center for Health Education located in Raleigh. Ladies, thank you for being here with us today and for getting up early to come and join us. Let's start right off with an overview, if we could. Ann, tell us a little bit about the Post Center, its background, and what its mission is in North Carolina.
So the Post Center is a statewide serving nonprofit that does universal health education in all the health areas. And we do it in prevention. So we align with what the Department of Public Instruction has goals and objectives for the state of North Carolina that the General Assembly has voted and DPI puts into place. Then we create our programs that we can do on-site, off-site, and online to provide for the students and families. So it's a holistic approach of looking at healthy habits for a lifetime. So we have subject matter experts, our health educators, that provide those programs and all those health areas of nutrition and physical activity, our general health, our family life programming, our substance use prevention programs, dental, mental well-being programs, and then we have cooking and our teaching garden that supplement.
There's so many things to go with that, but I want to ask you, does the General Assembly ever turn to you for input into the rules that they put in place for DPI?
So typically we work directly with DPI in that when they are revising their goals and objectives, like about 5 years ago they lowered like the substance use prevention from 5th grade to 4th grade. Then our staff were on a team at the Department of Public Instruction that helped work through those goals and objectives with them. So we educate elected officials, but we don't, and we advocate for certain areas of education if there's a gap, but we don't lobby or do anything like that. We don't create our own legislation either.
Legislation comes top down. You guys are working bottom up. You see the impact of what the legislation is because you're working with it, with the students, with the families.
Correct. We do direct education. We do policy, system, and environmental work around creating the environment for it to be healthier. An example would be creating a walk zone for kids to be able to walk and bike to school.
Okay.
That would be an environmental change. And then we do coalition building where we're working with a community around a health disparity or a health issue that is prominent, and the data shows that their work in that area could decrease that epidemic, such as vaping.
Understood. You're located in Raleigh and you work throughout the state, so I'd like to let's narrow our focus now down to things that you have been doing or maybe planning to do here in Nash Edgecombe in Wilson County. And Alaina, I'd like to bring you in on this as well too. As Nutrition Director, what are some of the programs that are already here? And as we walk through that, how can families, schools of every stripe, private, public, homeschool, how can they access what the Post Center has to offer? Because it's available for everyone.
It is.
I know there's a lot there, so I'll let you ladies decide where you want to start with that.
So we are available in all academic settings. So on-site, schools or groups can come and take a field trip to the Post Center, like Bailey Elementary. Or you might find us out in the community here, working throughout some of our different Head Start partnerships that we have, or Foundation YMCA in Wilson. We're all around. And so like Ann said, off-site, online, and in person, all of those different ways. So we are continuing to foster our relationships that we have here, and specifically within our our partnership with our SNAP education funding, we're able to work a little bit more in depth in these counties.
If I could, let me just ask you to go ahead and define the acronym SNAP for our viewers who may not know what that is.
Absolutely. We do a lot of acronyms in the public health region, so I thank you for pausing for that. So Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program Education, and that's through our funding and our contracts that we have with them to work within these specific counties here, Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson, and a variety of other ones too.
In the last several months, we've had several different organizations sit at this table and talk about the food desert that unfortunately is in this area, which is maddening. The richest country in the world, we have food deserts. But does PO work through situations like that to try and help alleviate that sort of situation that families find themselves in?
So as Ann mentioned, we are working with other organizations and community groups that are focused on bettering the health of of their area, of their own communities. We know we're in Raleigh, and Raleigh doesn't look like every other community, so instead of infringing upon that, we're working with other organizations. So groups like Wilson Forward or Downey's Partnership for Children, those already established groups that are here in the community, we're partnering with them to continue that work to better the health of the entire county and eventually the entire state.
Again, you have top down, you have bottom up. It's an education center that works through schools and other organizations, so you're seeing the children. Is there a function of what you're doing that also addresses educating and helping parents, again, top down, bottom up?
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of our work may primarily be around that prevention education with youth, but we are working with their families and adults. So our programming is not just for youth, but we do have programs for adults, our even aging and older adults as well. And the whole goal that we're working on is to educate the entire family and working with that. So we have resources that are for youth, for adults, and bringing the family together to better everyone's health.
Can I ask you, you mentioned working with older adults. Could you give us an example of what that looks like?
Yes. Within our nutrition education programs, we have a senior fitness program that we work through with those senior adults. We work with one of our agencies that help us to identify other congregate meal sites for our seniors, such as Meals on Wheels. And it's a 16 class program that we do, and we're working on those. It's a physical activity class, but the focus is on things that are helpful for daily living. So those functions that are going to help to strengthen your body overall, so that you continue to be independent in the work that you're doing. And also cooking programs too. And we know that cooking may look a little bit different as you're aging. You may not be cooking for an entire family anymore, but what are the things that you can do to make those healthy choices throughout the remainder of your life?
And cooking on a budget.
That was something I was just thinking about, because as you move from a family to cook for yourself, oftentimes that's not an easy transition to go from cooking from 4 to 2 or to 1.
And North Carolina is a fast-growing senior citizens, particularly in certain counties, and so the work that we do, we're trying to empower them through the rest of their lives to prevent any chronic diseases, or if they have something like type 2 diabetes, that they've got menus and learning to cook healthy meals that are tasty but are also on a budget, particularly if you're only able to have limited resources of healthy foods where you live.
And everyone's budget is being stretched with the way things are today, so that's something that more and more people are becoming aware of and concerned about.
Yes.
As your children grow, they tend to eat more.
Yes, they do.
March is National Nutrition Month.
It is.
Is that so? How has the Post Center been able to work that into the programs that you?
Yes. So we are celebrating National Nutrition Month this month in a variety of different ways. So of course we're highlighting that in our education programs, but on our social media. So Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, we have daily tips for people to be able to follow, and that is not just in this month, but throughout the entire year. So that's a great way for people to continue to follow those tips and hashtag POFIT to get those healthy tips that we talk about daily with our key messages that we have in our classes.
And I want to go back to something that you mentioned up front, because this is something that I don't know that a lot of people think about or realize that there are programs out there for. You talked about mental health awareness.
Yes.
Tell us, could just a little more about what the Post Center is doing with that. I would guess both for children and for adults.
Yes. So thank you for asking. We do have facilitators on our staff that can do mental health first aid, youth mental health first aid.
I've not heard that mental health first aid.
So you think about CPR for your body,
Yes.
mental health first aid for your mind.
It makes sense. I just not heard that phrase before.
And we look holistically, and we are really delving into not only holistic, HOLISTIC, but holistic, WHOLE,
Okay.
to really look at the whole person, the whole family. We know that our primary audience of school-age children depend on their families to support what they eat, how it's cooked, their transportation. And so if we can get them started on preventing chronic disease with healthy habits, with their mind and body. And so we are providing those programs, but we also have, I call it the Cliff Notes version, QPR, questioning, persuading, and referring. So it's a little bit less in hours, but it does provide you, and it really is a suicide prevention program for any adults or families that might be worried about that, or that work in a church or work in a school that work with youth and families, that they have this tool and this program so that they can help them.
Just to be clear on that, what that program is designed to help people recognize in advance. It's not after the fact. This is a preventative training
That's
program
correct.
for folks
So-
to recognize that.
We definitely stay in our prevention box. We have a lot of resources that we refer. And if you go to our website, there are a lot of intervention and intensive intervention programs out there that we work with, but we really focus on preventing it or delaying it until it's legal. So for instance, with tobacco or alcohol, we're trying to delay that till it's of legal age, or hopefully, if they delay it that long, that they will never start.
We've already talked about a lot of topics here today. Does the center take, you've mentioned holistic, both HOLS and WHOS. Does the Post Center, does it matter where someone becomes involved with the Post Center that they would have access to all these programs? Or is this the overarching goal of the center to if someone comes in, to expose them to all? Do you understand my question
Yes.
with that?
So it's kind of twofold. We have groups that come in and do a nutrition program, but then when they go out to our Playwell Park, which is a one-of-a-kind health-focused playground, that we're getting, in fact, we're ordering new equipment because it's been so well loved and played that it needs to be renewed, but it reinforces all of those things they learn in their sessions in our teaching theaters that have museum quality exhibitry, but we're not a museum model business setup or business plan. We do groups. So we may have a youth group come, we may have a school group come, we may have a charter school come. We do some health education for the whole charter school,
Okay.
all of theirs at all grade levels. And so that's a way for us to approach, and the teachers can say, we're covering this essential, because we feel like this is essential. You don't know how to brush your teeth until somebody teaches
How to
you.
do it. Very good point.
And floss is the same.
Without, if someone doesn't have dental insurance, they may not be going to the dentist on a regular basis.
That's
so
correct.
There's no reinforcement.
So can we
of that.
teach them some healthy habits that can help prevent that? Because at any one time, there are 3 to 5 counties that have no practicing dentist.
Again,
Yeah.
we could talk about that
I know.
for a long time.
But our website also is universal, where we have a lot of resources that you can go to, a lot of interactive pieces with like our garden and our kitchen, and even our 25th anniversary of Post Center mural in North Carolina over the last 25 years, with a lot of hot spots to kind of teach you about what are the different health areas we work in.
Our time goes so quickly in these interviews. Unfortunately, we have to wrap things up there. A few things I would like to...
I know, we just started.
Ladies, it's always the case. We would love to have you back to talk about some more these things in more detail, but let me ask you this. Public school, charter school, private school, church school, home school, everyone
needs the
can
Post Center.
access the Post Center.
Yes.
Yes.
And we want to, I know I preempted your question,
No,
didn't I?
no, go ahead,
We
please.
really want, for middle and high schoolers, we have a new brain game.
Okay.
And we're excited for them. It's a fortnight game. So I don't know how to play it, but middle and high schoolers love it. And it's around healthy habits, but nutrition, and they have to go through and make choices. And so that is something that's a new one of a kind that we're also doing. So we're trying to do health education cutting edge as well.
Meeting people where they are.
Correct.
They can access that online?
They can.
Very good. Quickly, any big plans for 2025 for the Post Center?
We are. So we are, as I said, replacing our playground equipment. So that will happen, and we'll shut it down and reopen from August, and then open it in October.
Is the playground inclusive?
It is.
Yes, okay.
And it's ADA compliant.
Okay.
And then we also have our annual meeting where we're looking at almost an anxious generation. Where we're working with
coming through
UNC
COVID,
psychiatrists
yes,
and the anxiety and stress and depression. So we're really focused on that topic this year, and it's going to be the week of September 10th. So we hope that y'all will check online and join us.
Come back and talk to us either just before that or just after that.
We'd love
I think it'd be
to.
nice to. This question is for both ladies, both answers. If there was one thing that you would like our viewers to take away from our time together, what would it be? And I'll start
Just
with you first.
one?
Just one.
We're accessible, and we're close to here. So
You really
coming to
are.
see-
The Post
yeah.
Center is very close to where 64, soon to be
Yes.
I-87, whenever, dead ends into the belt line. You are 5 minutes from that nexus.
We just
point.
want y'all to come play and learn with us.
Yeah, that was mine. Though we're located in Raleigh, we're right here. I would say we're often in this area or throughout North Carolina, but we are, I would say, a great resources, great place for resources, and we also know that we don't do this work alone. So a lot of our partnerships and a lot of things, we depend on them. We are continuing to foster those relationships. So that's something that we understand too.
Volunteer opportunities with the Post Center available.
Absolutely. We have over 200 a year. So we have interns, corporate and individuals.
So for that young person that's looking for an internship to get into college or to expand their career, a good place to think about that.
Absolutely.
Ladies, I'm sorry we've run out of
No,
time.
that's wonderful.
Ann Rollins, Executive
Thank you
Director,
so
Alaina,
much.
Hart, Nutrition Director.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for being here. We'd love to have you back to give us an update on this too.
We know how to get here now.
Truly ask question, who is Alice Saycock Poe?
So she is the grandmother of the Poe Smith family, and they donated the land that our building and facilities on, and so they wanted to name it after her.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Post Center for Health Education, we will have them back on for an update somewhere down the road. Thank you for watching. We're going to step aside for these commercial messages, our last look at weather, and then Wayne and I will be back to wrap things up. You're watching the live morning show presented by Don Bullock Chevrolet, and we'll be right back.